Okay, so I just recently finished this cute little indie game called FlyKnight, and I'd like to talk about it. So I just finished FlyKnight. It's a dungeon crawling, Souls-like amalgamation of different inspirations from a bunch of different games. The most notable would be Runescape, possibly Ocarina of Time, obviously Dark Souls, and more old school first person adventure games. Like, I just saw recently that they, in their latest update on Steam, mentioned Kingsfield. You know, I started on Sega Genesis with Sonic, so I didn't get to experience like old school PC stuff, so I didn't get to play like Daggerfall and stuff like that. But I can definitely see from what I've seen on YouTube where the inspiration and the comparisons on that would come from. But aside from like, you know, how the game is and what inspires it, I just talk about the game, the gameplay, what I liked about it, because I really liked FlyKnight a lot. It's super cool. And it's only like $7. It's cheap as heck right now. I think it's also on sale for like 30% off, so like base price, super cheap. Super worth it. It is super short. So if you want to do a, you know, a cheeky little stream of it, or, you know, just to play for yourself, you know, I super recommend. But let's get into it. So the gameplay is amazing. Very simple, but it also incorporates some more complex aspects to its loot. And some of the weapons have, well, all of the weapons have directional influence. Some of the weapons have more directional influence than other weapons, which is where I make the comparison to Ocarina of Time, where in Ocarina of Time, you could move left and right, forward and backwards to influence, do you want to thrust forward, do you want to swing from the sides, do you want to move and slice vertically or horizontally. The only dissimilarity that I can see, aside from like the glaring obvious ones, you know, the first person aspect, the only dissimilarity that there is in terms of Dark Souls influence is that there's no dodging in this game, but it is heavy on the stamina bar. Sprinting takes stamina, blocking takes stamina, attacking takes stamina, pretty much everything takes stamina, honestly. It's kind of like playing Valheim, but like, you know, in Valheim, everything takes stamina, which they should have thought of when they made the hills. Now, in terms of like directional influence that you have with the combat, later in the game, I think I have like maybe 6 hours pumped into the game just because I was taking my time, which is unfortunate that I was taking my time and it only took me 6 hours, but I wish there was more. But anyways, I got this halberd, and if you move forward, you do an overhead chop. You move right, you do a right side swing. You move left, you do a left side swing. And if you move backwards, you do a thrusting stab. And if you press no movement, it just defaults to the thrusting stab. There are a lot of weapons in the game. A decent handful, not nearly as much as, say, like Elden Ring or even Dark Souls. Again, it's a very short, small, sweet game, but very worth your time. You can also more accurately influence the direction of your swings by holding down the button. My Oonga Boonga brain thought it was a heavy attack at first, until my higher brain decided to break down all the statistics that were in my face, because the game has damage numbers, and I noticed, my damage doesn't go up if I hold the button down longer. I wonder what that could be used for. And me being as brilliant as I am, figured out late game, maybe like 5 hours in, that holding the button down gives me more control over the directional influence. So if you hold the button down, you have more directional influence over which way you want your character to attack. Some weapons don't have that, like the rusty sword only has side to side, the first claymore that you get only has side to side, the first spear you get only has a thrust, so on and so forth. You get more weapons the further you go along in the story, and the more weapons, the more better. And along with that directional influence, you can dismember your enemies. A lot of enemies have more than 2 arms, And since they have 4 arms, you can expect that you're going to be doing a lot of dismembering. So if you hit them from the side, which you get a claymore pretty early on, which only has side to side, you know, during the tutorial, that lets you test out dismembering the enemies, which gives you tutorial prompts along the way in the style of soapstones, a la Dark Souls. And honestly, if I could just like gush about the combat and just the animations in general, because I'm a huge stickler or advocate for animations in games. Like, if I don't like the animation, I'm probably not playing the game. You know, like, for example, the caliber of, say, Monster Hunter's animations are legendary. They're amazing. Or even like basic engines, basic graphical engines, like just how simple MGS1, for example, was and how it executed its animations in a simple but believable way. I feel like FlyKnight executes the same level of polish in the animation that honestly a lot of new games nowadays just fail to meet. Like, take for example PUBG or H1Z1, I don't know, some like 7 Days to Die. Even Warframe to an extent, just because of the engine, but that's, again, another video. But what they did with the animations and how they really held true to like the retro aspect of FlyKnight and the old school RuneScape-esque graphical style is that they kind of chopped the frame rate in half for the animations, and it looks amazing to me. Like, I love that shit. And obviously that's not going to be for everybody. Like, a lot of people are, you know, if the game doesn't look at least semi-realistic, then they're probably going to overlook the game. And, you know, that's fair, but I implore you, even if you only play like, you know, Fortnite or Helldivers or Monster Hunter or, you know, competitive shooters like Marvel Rivals or whatever, please. It's only 6 hours. Give it a shot. It's also only like $7. So what do you got to lose? And speaking of losing things, this game has fishing. So if you want to try and catch a bunch of fish and fail at it like me, the game has fishing. It's nothing like Stardew Valley where you can sweat your balls off and fail to catch a bunch of fish because you can't keep them in the stupid bar. You can take a break from sweating on that game and come play FlyKnight and just, you know, easy fish. It's cast, wait, and reel. That's it. I mean, it's bare bones, but it's fun. I really liked it. I didn't spend much time fishing because I enjoyed the main loop of the game much more, but there is fishing, and the fish designs are kind of cute. There's a little banana fish, there's a little grape fish. Kind of reminded me of the Final Fantasy grapes, but it's fun. It's a good time. Now, allow me to gush one more time about another aspect of the game that I feel deserves much praise, and that's the music. The music slaps. Now, the music is in a MIDI style, so it's, again, retro, but it's all just so good. It carries a nice beat through every single one of the songs, whether it's the title screen music or the last level of the game. It carries a nice beat, really immerses you in this old school setting, and I'd buy it up immediately. I can't find it on like YouTube Music or Spotify or anything, or even on just YouTube itself, so sometimes I'll just boot up the game to listen to the last level's music. It may not be everybody's style, but it's definitely mine. Altogether, as I've mentioned before, it's a pretty small game. They said they're gonna actually expand the game, and boy howdy, I'm looking forward to that, because like, when I hopped in, I was like, man, like, it looks like RuneScape, and honestly, this is how I wish RuneScape would play. I wish I could explore the world of RuneScape in the same way that I'm exploring this world. I wish there were more games that looked like this and felt like this, but I'm really looking forward to when they make more FlyKnight, whether it be in a different game entirely or just more FlyKnight. I just want more of this, honestly. It's really good for such a small game. Anyways, that's it for me. But if you liked the video, you know, consider liking if you liked it. If you didn't like it, dislike the video. All good. If you liked it a lot, I mean, you could consider subscribing. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but like, I'd be interested in making more of these types of videos, if not just posting VODs from my Twitch channel, which yeah, I got it. I got a Twitch. I don't, you know, do this specifically on Twitch. I just play video games and draw art, and the art that I make on Twitch is also the art that I post on my shops, which I will have linked down in the description, along with everywhere else you can find me at. So yeah, if you liked, I hope to see you again.